Good afternoon, everyone. This is Robert Bose with Pennsylvania Infrastructure Investment Authority. I'm the Deputy Executive Director for Project Management, and I just want to take an opportunity and thank you for joining us, and I'm going to turn it over to Dave Henning. Dave Henning is a project manager within Penvest Project Management section. And he's going to be reviewing with you our new Penvest application system. Over the years, we've upgraded and modified our systems. The last one was funds disbursement. Now we've moved forward with doing that with our application system. So hopefully you'll enjoy this and find that we've taken input from various users, frequent users, user groups, and have added modifications and upgraded the system to make those accommodations, and look forward to any feedback you may have. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Dave.
Welcome, everyone. And as Rob mentioned, my name is Dave Henning. I'm going to be your tour guide for this lunch hour. The objective of this lunch and learn session is to show everyone the new application, the new Penvest online application system. This application system actually went live after the November 2020 application cutoff. And throughout this tour, I'm going to also offer some time-saving tips along the way. So first of all, where do you find the Penvest application portal? Our homepage is www.penvest.pa.gov. There's two ways actually to locate the Penvest portal. The newer, more up-to-date way would be to use the PV portal icon that I have highlighted in the center of the screen, or the old-fashioned way, like old-timers like myself used to do it. You'd go to Services, hit the drop-down box, and then click on the Apply Online. One thing worthwhile to mention to the group, if you're new to Penvest, I always like to promote the excellent tools that we do have on our website. If you notice, just to the right of Services in the upper right-hand part of the screen, you will see a drop-down menu for tools. And there's a lot of really great calculators. There's actually a calculator that will do a simulated financial offer. So a pretty good website, and again, definitely recommend that you check it out if you have the time. The Penvest portal is what you see right here, and again, it's been recently modernized. Some additional information has been added. The one thing that I do want to point out is in order to access the Penvest portal, the user needs to have a registered PA Keystone account. If you have transacted other business with the Commonwealth, such as PennDOT, DCED, DEP, you likely already have a PA Keystone account. A PA Keystone login is an account management system for Commonwealth online services. It allows the users to log into multiple online services with the same credentials. PA Keystone is used by many state agencies, so you understand that you don't need to create an account specifically for Penvest. All you need to do is to activate an existing PA Keystone account by simply logging into the Penvest portal. And also right on the portal, you will see, if you don't have a PA Keystone account, how to register for a Keystone login. And one last thing I'd like to point out, on the Penvest portal page, you also notice there's a Learn More and Need Assistance. So if you just want to get a brief overview of the different programs that Penvest has, that's really, quite honestly, a good starting point. You go in, look under funding programs, apply online, and you'll find that very useful. If you're an existing Penvest user, loan servicing is definitely a place that you might need somewhere along the period of time that you're working with Penvest. Need assistance, again, will give you contacts within Penvest, either folks in-house or with the field people or the regional assistants. One other thing I also want to mention about PA Keystone is that your PA Keystone account is active with Penvest for 60 days. If you don't log into the Penvest portal within 60 days, your account will be temporarily expired. If your account expires, you have two ways of resetting it. The first option would be to reset it online by following the system prompts. So if you're expired, it's going to tell you and it's going to ask you, hey, do you want to reset? You want to reset yourself. You'll be asked to input a code that will show up in your email. If you opt to go in that manner, just be patient. Sometimes those codes can take several minutes until you receive it in your inbox. Your other choice would be to contact myself, your project specialist, and we can unexpire your account. All you have to do basically is once we unexpire your account is to log into the Penvest portal by the end of that day to complete the reset process. The project list, once you go into the Penvest portal, is really the home of our navigation system. What you'll see if you're an existing Penvest user are all the projects that your PA Keystone credentials are linked to. Navigation on this page has been slowly rolled out over the past several months. So if you're an existing user, this really isn't anything new to you. If your intent is to work on an existing application, all you need to do in this particular case would be to work in the project panel navigation link where you see the application, settlement, loan servicing, and funds disbursement. If you're a new user, obviously you probably are not going to see any projects linked. If there is an existing project application that was started and you need to get linked, you can either contact myself, your project specialist, or the borrower, and any one of those entities can link you to the project. If this is the first time that you're coming in and you want to start a new application, again, you're not going to see anything on your project list. You just simply jump in and start a new application. One thing I just want to point out is kind of a tip. If you are an existing Penvest user and you have multiple applications, if you look in the middle of your screen on the far right-hand side, you'll see a star. That star, if you click on it, it'll fill in, and what it'll do is it'll take that project and it'll move it into your workbook. A workbook, again, if you have multiple Penvest applications that you've worked on in the past, is really kind of a really slick way of getting those applications that you're currently working on and just filtering them and putting into one spot so that you're not looking through, like in my case, what I'm showing here is that I have 18 different projects in my folder. So just one tip for you. When you go to start a new application, the first panel that you're going to see is going to be the user type screen. In this screen, what we're looking for the user to identify is the type of applicant they are. Now, keep in mind, if you're not a homeowner, if you're a landowner, you're a corporation, you're a municipality, those, when you click on those links, they will take you directly to the Penvest application. If you're a homeowner and you're looking to do an on-lot project, or you're looking to replace your lateral, that link will give you the necessary information to take you directly to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency, and they administer the programs on our behalf.
Dave, we just got a great question and applies to the application. And I'm just going to read it aloud. It says, the question is there any way to see past applications, ones that were completed or started prior to this new online system? And essentially all that previous applications or pre-started applications, that information and data is saved, but it's not necessarily viewable from the public side. What you would need to do is contact the area project specialist and have them pull it from our electronic filing system. So the information was saved, it does exist, and it is accessible, just not readily from the public-facing side. So I would encourage you to reach out to your area project specialist, and they can work with you to pull it from our filing system and get that information to you. So that it is publicly, it is available. It's just not readily available on the public-facing side of our webpage. But great question, and if anyone else has questions, feel free to put it in the question and answer section. So I'll turn it back over to you, Dave.
All righty. So once you go in, you start the application, you start working the project description just like you would normally under the old project or under the old application system. Once you save your data and you return back to the project, the first thing that you're going to view is the dashboard. And the dashboard, as you can see, is a new feature with Penvest. It actually consists of 5 components. There's a project or a progress bar that summarizes the status of the application. A major change in the new application system is the removal of all starting and stopping points in the application. So essentially what I'm saying is that when you started an application under the old system, you would only see a certain section of the application once you had your planning consultation meeting and it was decided that you were going to move forward. The application then was moved into data entry status. Here, once you start an application, you can run with it all the way up to the very end, and you'll see the whole entire application from the get-go. The action panel is a breakdown of the milestones noted in the progress bar. Each milestone has certain actions within it that needs to be completed. Once the required items are completed within the specific milestone, that action is completed and noted in the progress bar. Contacts. Contacts are essentially the people that are integral to the project. They will include the Penvest project specialist, the DEP project manager, the applicant's technical representative, which is normally an engineer, their legal representative, and the applicant and funding recipient or any other stakeholder that the applicant would want to see. So again, having contacts here on the dashboard is really convenient. If you need to get in touch with DEP or with Penvest, that information is readily available right on the front of the screen. Legal entity. This in most cases is the funding recipient, and we must have a correct legal name of the funding recipient, including tax identification, address, or any other pertinent information. And last but not least is the primary project site. And essentially all that is just simply where's the construction going to occur, so that if somebody from DEP or from Penvest want to come out, they can go right down to the primary project site, and this system will literally give them directions on how to get to the project. Action panel. Now, I got to be honest with you, this isn't going to make a whole lot of sense until we get to the next slide, but the action panel lets you know what items need to be completed in order to advance the application. These items listed in this slide are either a direct or indirect responsibility of the funding recipient. So again, the get started, which was a milestone in the progress bar, essentially collects key information that we need to know about the project. A lot of times this can be information that's collected in advance of the planning consultation meeting, or it can be afterwards. But again, this is just very preliminary information. The planning consultation, that action panel, that's the day that you set to have the joint meeting with DEP, the Penvest project specialist, your engineer, and any other stakeholder. And that is a location where documents such as meeting minutes and other, relative, very preliminary information can be shared. Application submitted is essentially, that's where you go once the funding recipient or the authorized agent can submit the application. However, it is contingent upon both the get started and the planning consultation milestones completed. Technical review is really a carryover from the last application system. The user identifies the planning, permitting, plans and specs, and other approvals required for the project. This is something that you would work closely with DEP on. So this is why I said that this wouldn't make any sense until we actually started looking at the new online application. So in the action panels, this is the first of the 5 key elements, which is get started. So as you can see at the very top center of the page, where it says get started, there's actually a progress bar there. And that progress bar will help you monitor where you're at in the get started process. Under get started, there's, as you can see, there's 6 items that need to be complete. In other words, to be complete with the get started action. Here, as you can see, that 4 of the 6 are complete, and they're denoted as boxes with check marks in. Those that don't have a check mark in the box are red. One of the neat features about this dashboard panel is that if I were to click on any one of those items, action items under get started, the system would automatically take you to that page. And if I were to click like on the project description page, there I would find this information. What is the project type? What is the project name? Where's the county? Where's the municipality? And what stage or phase of the project are you looking at? Likewise, it's important for us to know, how much funding do you need? And then again, a narrative. What is the, the problem that you look to address as part of this project? The next action item is planning consultation meeting. And as I mentioned before, this is pretty simple. All we're looking for here is to collect the date of the planning consultation meeting. The project specialist, once the meeting's been set, will come in, mark the planning meeting is confirmed, and actually that completes this particular item. What I have highlighted here in the red box is, a couple neat features with this particular action panel is that, again, as I talked about earlier, here you can upload documents. So maybe in preparation of your planning consultation meeting, Ken or Tess or Rebecca might upload maybe a handout that would be something that they would want, everybody at the meeting to see. Likewise, once the meeting's done or completed, DEP could upload their meeting minutes. And what I found over the years is a lot of times, prior to sitting down and having a meeting, the engineers or the person that's, kind of overlooking the technical part of the project, they like to provide in advance, just a brief project narrative. Again, normally this kind of stuff is certainly encouraged to be done early in the process. And as you'll see, this page also has the ability for all the different stakeholders to go in and apply any comments or notes that they may have. Application submission. I'm not really sure why I put this on here other than this is something that either the applicant or the applicant's representative would complete here. As you can see, that the submit button does not populate until both the get started and the planning consultation items are marked off. Well, one word of caution we kicked around during the application design is that please don't think that just completing the get started and having a planning consultation meeting reflects a complete application. As I'm going to show you here shortly, there's 13 sections to this application, and the items that we've identified under Get Started and the rest of the action panel are really crucial items that we want to collect very early in the application process. Technical review. This is essentially the section of the dashboard where, and this generally occurs after the planning consultation meeting, where the applicant can go in by clicking on the edit feature at the top. They can affix any kind of notes about any of the plans, permits, any other special type of approvals. They can list it in here. Just make sure that once you add any information to a comment field that you click save. And then once you're done with any comments that you may have, you would then go down to the technical component list and you would identify any of the permits, plans and specs, any of the items, and this is the short list of them, of what's required for your project. So you would simply go in, click edit. Let's say you had a wastewater project, you would go in, click edit on Act 537 planning approval. You would incorporate the date to DEP. You would indicate the status. And if that 537 plan was approved, you would affix a date. DEP would then go back in, and as they were reviewing the application for technical completeness, they would then go in and confirm that those items are complete. Just one thing I wanted to point out, that you're going to notice this in some sections of the application. You're going to see a little box with a question mark, and if you look at the lower left-hand corner, those are really help contexts. I guess they're called pop-ups. And in this particular case, I clicked on the one for the Part 1 NPDES permit. And the object of this is to try to give the user some indication of what we're asking for. In this particular case, again, it's describing what a Part 1 permit might be. So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are doing applications that may not know what a Part 1 permit is. These next two slides, kind of like the one slide that I made the comment on before earlier, they may not make a whole lot of sense until we start looking at this, but on the dashboard, these are the 3 panels, again, that's related to contacts, legal entity, and primary project sites. A contacts, and again, we're looking for borrowers. They're the contact for the funding recipient. They must be linked to the application, and they must be a PA Keystone registered. Searching for existing content or for existing contact, or able to create a new one, is functionality that's built in our system. The legal entity in most cases is going to be the funding recipient. We've had some people recently maybe misconstrue what we're looking for, you know, and they were maybe working for an engineering firm or a legal firm, and they started completing that out under their firm. What we're looking for when you're going in and completing the legal entity, and I know once that page opens up, we call it companies, but what we're really looking for is information about the funding recipient. If the legal entity is not already approved by Penvest, then one can be created, but just keep in mind, it takes a little bit of additional time, some additional documentation. We'll need a copy of the funding recipient's W-9 statement that's got the correct legal name, tax identification number. Whenever you're going in and completing this section, it's imperative that if you're working with the funding recipient, or if you are the funding recipient that's going in and working on the application, that you have whatever necessary documents that you need to complete that. That's probably one of the areas of more common errors is the legal entity not originally correct in the application. And project or primary project site, that's just simply the site where construction is going to take place. Some cases it could be a treatment plant, might be a single site. Other cases it could be multiple sites. One of the neat features that we were looking at when our IT staff incorporated Google Maps is that they were able to demonstrate to us that it's pretty easy if you want to, show like maybe a length of water line replacement, going from one street to another. So in each of those 3 items, the contacts, legal entity, and primary site, you're always going to see what's called See All. And when you click on See All, if we're looking at the contacts panel, that'll open up a separate window. So that's important. In our old system, you literally had to get out of the application, go in through in another tab to update your contacts. Here, the way our IT department designed the contacts is that it opens up under a separate portal. So once you've updated your contacts, you can just close out that that page, and you're right back in the application. With contacts, there's roles, and we typically on an application, we're looking for 3 roles in every application. We're looking for an engineer, an attorney, and a borrower. And a borrower should be a contact in our system that is somebody that, quite honestly, is computer savvy. They're around during the daytime and they have availability to a computer. And again, those typically make the best borrowers. Common problems that we run into when we're trying to add contacts into our contact system is that either the individual doesn't have a PA Keystone registered account, they may have multiple accounts, or the PA Keystone account is not activated with Penvest. And I'll talk about that here in just a second. So here are a couple different screenshots of the contact panel. If you look at the snippet that's to the upper left, this is what you would see when you're looking at the dashboard panel. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to go into that particular panel, you would click on what I have circled here as See All, and that would take you to the page that would be immediately below. And what you would see here is all the people that are currently linked to the project. And these people that are linked to the project, if you look at the middle column where it says permissions, they're added into this project under different roles. Project contacts can be added or they can be created. So what the heck is the difference? So when you go to add somebody, this is somebody that you suspect that may already be in the Penvest system. You know, engineers, attorneys who've done Penvest work before, most likely are probably already in our database. If I'm looking for maybe like a borrower that has done numerous Penvest projects before, they're probably already in our database. But there may be individuals that are not, or there may be individuals that you want to add to project contacts, but won't have the ability to go into the online application system itself. They just may be listed as guests and just people that in the event maybe somebody has a question, they have a name and a phone number and we can pick them up in the event that maybe we can't reach the borrower. Here you can see there's 5 different people attached to this project. The people that have the green leaf next to their name are contacts that we have in our database that are registered PA Keystone accounts. Those people that don't have the green leaf of happiness are not PA Keystone registered. And I've even included someone that has an expired account. And again, an expired account just simply means that they haven't logged into the Penvest application within 60 days. The screenshot to the upper top right is just the functionality of searching for someone. Here in this box, you simply can type in the person's last name. I typed in my last name, or you can type in their email address, hit the search button, and hopefully it comes up with a list. And you just simply go through the list and find the person that you're looking for. If they're there, then you just simply click on the add contact, and that will add them to the list that you see at the bottom of the page. If they're not there, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not PA Keystone registered. It could be that simply they're not activated with the Penvest portal. In order to get activated with the Penvest portal, all they need to do is just simply log into the Penvest portal using their PA Keystone account. Legal entity registration. This is pretty similar to what you just saw as far as how to implement this or to go about this for the legal entity. Again, the upper left snippet is the search function for a legal entity. You simply type in who you're looking for, hit the magnifier, and it will pop up with those people that are the company that comes up with under the word Penvest. And as you can see, there's a couple different entries here. One word of caution when you're doing a legal entity lookup. Again, there are some legal entities that we've saw that are listed in here multiple times. It's always best that when you're looking for the correct legal entity that you want to attach to an application, that you compare what's listed with their legal entity type and also their tax identification number. The snippet that's on the top right hand of the screen is the company classification assignment. Now, I didn't include this snip under contacts, but when you were going in and you were selecting a contact, you would do the same thing. You would identify what the role was of that person under under the contacts, if they would be the borrower, the borrower's engineer, the borrower's legal counsel, and so on and so forth. Well, here what we need is that we need to know the legal entity, and we need to know who is the person that's going to get the money. If that legal entity has a mailing address that is different than their physical location, then we would also need the legal entity to also complete what's called the physical location classification assignment. So it's just simply adding that additional information in. And what you see at the bottom of the page is just a sample of what the legal entity registration looks like. Again, hopefully when you're going in, you're looking for them, that they are already in the system. So if they are in the system, you're going under add a company to the project. If they're not, then you would go under create a company record. If you're doing the create a company record, just be advised that we are going to need a copy of their W-9, which I believe also includes the tax identification number and their correct legal name. Primary project sites, like I mentioned before, what we're looking for here is where's the project located at. So DEP, Penvest, or maybe somebody just wants to come out and see how the project's doing. Again, just like the other two action, or not action, but the dashboard items, in order to initiate that, you would click on See All. And then at that particular point, you would click on Create a Project Site, and then the project site information would come up. Here you see under Project Site, there's two panels. You would go in first, complete the project site information panel. You would need to do that by obviously clicking on the Edit button. And it's important to note that one of the project sites must be the primary project site. Just make sure whenever you're done filling this section out that you click Save before you start the panel below. The panel below, again, is just the project site address. Once you put the address in here, or you could also put the lat longs in, that will calculate a map just off to the right. And again, anybody that's linked to the project, it might be difficult to see, but just right to that box, there's a little, there's a link called Directions. You click on that and it will actually give you directions once you give it a starting point. At the bottom of the page is a completed primary project site. So that's what it would look like on the dashboard once it's complete. So navigation within the application page and functionality. Now remember when I first mentioned, and again, as you look at this, on the left-hand side is the application, the vertical navigation. The Penvest application, the old application system, there used to be 15 sections. The new one, there's 13 sections. Of the 13 sections, the section that you are currently working in this particular case, I'm in the dashboard. If you look, this probably isn't a great snip, but as you can see, the dashboard is somewhat highlighted. It's a different shade of blue. Of the 13 different sections, 5 sections have what are called slide outs. The slide outs is what I have circled in red. So for instance, in the narrative application, there are actually four panels that are attached to the narrative section. The description narrative in this particular case is a very general page that will ask questions specific to your project, and they're not the type of questions where you would typically see that would ask you, you know, these are questions that typically wouldn't be project specific to the type of funding that you're trying to apply for. And then what you'll notice is the last 3 slide outs are specific, so that if you're working on a drinking water project, you would complete the drinking water slide out. If you were doing a wastewater, you would complete the wastewater slide out. Or if you were doing a stormwater non-point source, obviously you would be completing that one. The resources section at the bottom of the page also has a slide out, and that's where you will find documents and forms, the document library, and then the print function. So again, as you're working on the application, you again, the application's always going to start at the top of the page, which would be the project description. There is 3 slide outs there. And then once you're done with that particular section, then you would then move on down to the project plan. The one thing that I wanted to point out on this particular slide is that when we first looked at the I guess the application filter, I called it, where it had the 4 pictures, where it had the homeowner, the landowner, the corporation, and then the municipality. We had something similar in the old application. And in the old application, depending upon what you clicked there, opened up certain forms in that old application. And after a while, having that auto formatting became problematic. So this system is actually designed not to auto format. So when you do this application, you're seeing the whole entire application. Just keep in mind, there'll be some sections like when you go into benefits. You know, if you're a drinking water project, you just simply will not complete the wastewater, the stormwater, the non-point source pages. Page functionality. Well, anybody that's a veteran of doing a Penvest application knows all too frequently about what happens when the time expires on the Penvest page. One of the additions to this new application is a stacked warning message, which you get message number 1 when you have 5 minutes left. When you have 4 minutes left, you get another message, and it keeps stacking up. The Commonwealth recently changed the standard for the session time on a given application. So yes, that's correct. Each session has a 20-minute period, and in order to restart that clock, simply all you got to do is either navigate to a different section, hit save, and again, that'll restart your clock. Help features can also be found throughout the application. Again, a box with a question mark will obviously that's something that we feel important and that people in the past have had questions about. Or what you will find a lot of times too, if you're looking for general help information that can be found at the bottom of the page. Other page functionality. Again, some sections will maybe have one panel, some pages may have multiple panels. If you can't edit a panel, what you want to do is look and see, is that particular section locked? And what I have circled in the upper left-hand corner is, just showing you that this particular drinking water compliance section is unlocked. So I've clicked on edit. I would go in, fill out that particular section, and please, before you move on to the next panel below, where it says drinking water enhancements, make sure you go up and hit the save. If you go down and you click on edit on the panel below, you're going to lose your work that you did above. We are looking at maybe coming up with a different solution, maybe some type of auto save. But again, this is the way this application currently functions. So before you move from panel to panel, just make sure that you click save. And again, once you click save, that restarts your clock. The other snip that I have to the right on that page is a snip out of our project budget. And if you're familiar with our old application system, we had a separate page for supporting documentations where you would upload all your different documents. Here, what we've decided to do that as people are working through the application, most of the times they already have documents available, and it just made sense that if I was working on a budget and say maybe I was inputting amounts for my engineering fees, it might be just easier that if I had a spreadsheet where I was calculating my engineering fees, I could upload that spreadsheet here, if you felt it was important for the Penvest project specialist needed to see how you develop those costs. Likewise, we have that for construction. Other costs, a lot of times, those are costs that are not maybe specific to the project. It could be anything, maybe like water meters or something like that. But again, if you have multiples of other costs, you could simply list them on a spreadsheet, upload the spreadsheet, and then just put the total number for other costs in that column. Every single page in this application has a comment field. If you feel that there's additional information that you want to share with DEP or the Penvest project specialist, insert a comment. Some final page functionality. I just hit on this really quickly. Resources, there's actually a couple things here for you. Under resources, this is the place where you would use the link in order to get to our documents and forms. You can also print the application. Again, the print application feature is a slide out, and depending upon what type of internet browser that you're using, like on mine, it opened up a separate PDF just underneath, and then once I open up the PDF, I could print my application. There's also a document library. So everybody's probably wondering, well, what's a document library? Well, one of the cool features about the document library is that all the documents that you've uploaded throughout the application is recorded in the document library. Now, you can't upload any documents to the document library, but you can open documents up. So again, the way the document library works is that it shows you what section of the application, what type of an upload is it. In this case, the one I had circled is an intermunicipal agreement. And then there's a link there where if you wanted to see the chlorine booster station change order, which I guess really isn't an intermunicipal agreement, you could click on that link and then you could read that document that was uploaded. And finally, this is right above resources. Actually, it's not within the resources item. Is required application documents, and these are uploads that every single application will have. So again, there's the letter of responsibility, the resolution to apply. Each upload is available for you. Again, there's templates. There's a template link down in the document library. Project pictures we just recently added. Just note that project pictures have to be either in a PDF or a JPEG format. If you have project pictures and you can't get them into either the PDF or the JPEG format, then simply you can upload them under miscellaneous documents. And again, miscellaneous documents would be other documents that might be unique for this particular project. Well, one of the neat things with the upload feature is that once you upload a document, the number in parentheses will change. And then you could actually click on that and open it back up if you wanted to look at what document you've actually uploaded. As always, you know, Penvest, we're blessed with a very talented and dedicated staff. Feel free to contact them with any questions, concerns for your infrastructure funding needs.
All right, thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. And what I'm going to do real quick here with the few moments we have left, I do want to just show the system in our live environment, just so folks can get an idea of what it looks like. And give me a second to share it. And get it set up here in the system. All right, so everyone should be seeing the live environment. If someone in the question and answer can just confirm that, that would be great, just to be sure. Again, Dave pretty much reviewed all these sections. I've just gone into.
We can see it, Rob.
Great, thank you. Just wanted to show you, this is the dashboard in the live environment. It's a test application, but it is the live environment. You can see the dashboard in the progress bar, how all the contacts are listed with the application, as well as the legal entities associated and primary project sites when and if they get entered. As you go up, you can also see the statuses of all the action items. You can expand those for the get started. Same with the planning consultation. Application submission, application review. If you want to see about the technical review that's being completed by DEP, you can open that as well and see how those things were checked off. So it really gives the user an ability to go into the system and get a real-time look at the progress and processing of the application. As Dave said, there is pop-outs from the side, and essentially what you're doing is you're going down through here and completing the various information. You can expand them open, and I'll just do that here under project narrative. And it's pretty simple. It just asks you the questions, you open the panel, allows you to type in what you like, hit save. That information is now included in the application. As you go down through each of the sections, it's the same functionality throughout the application with the various pop-outs and applicable information. And again, as Dave pointed out, you do have the document libraries and the print application function at the end. So it's pretty straightforward, just answering the questions, submitting the information, but I did want to just take a few moments here at the end. We did cover a lot of information, but actually to give you to see what it all looks like in one section, comprised within the live environment. And now I've just returned back to the project list. If you have multiple projects that you're working on, it just gives you a list of what that looks like. So I hope you found this time beneficial and have an opportunity to use our new application system. If you do have questions, as Dave pointed out, please contact our project specialists, and they'll be more than willing to help you through the process, to foster you through that, and really be a resource to make you successful in submitting an application to Penvest. I do appreciate everyone's time, and have a great day.